How about now? We good? Awesome. All right. Sorry about that. Oh, streaming tech. Volume's good, microphone-wise. Awesome. I have a bad habit of speaking into a muted microphone, so awesome. Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming out. Good morning, everybody. Darren. Hey, Darren. Hi, Lori. If Lori's with you, Darren. Good to see you guys. No echoes or anything like that. Actually, when we get the stream video going, let me know if there is any echoing, because that's been a little bit of an issue in previous streams that we've done. So
yeah, we're still trying to work out some things with that.
Yeah. So for this morning, we didn't get a playlist together for you, but you can use either of the previous playlists.
Do you need? I'll put them both in there.
Krista will put both playlists in. She'll drop the links in the chat. So if you guys want music, you can use our playlist that we put together. If you have your own music, that's okay too. You can use your own jams. And for future streams, something's kind of come up with our studio space rent-wise, but we're going to see if we can still pay the studio. I don't know. She doesn't own it, but
yeah.
Ashley's studio. We were going to ask her if we could still just pay to be able to film in her space. She's going to let us know. Just because with regulations and stuff happening now, we're not sure if the physio clinic will actually want us in there. So we're going to have to try to figure something out. Hopefully we can continue to use that space.
Okay, I just put the playlist in the chat if you guys wanted to use one of those.
Get your coffees. And any other announcements?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, before we start, I just wanted to give a shout out to my buddy Jeff. Some of you guys might know him from Good Life. Tall guy, tall skinny guy, loves to cycle and bike, and he's dedicated to yoga. But he stopped by on the weekend, on Sunday, and kind of played around and brainstormed some things. So some of this flow is some of his suggestions. So big shout out to Jeff.
Great suggestions, Jeff.
Yeah, they worked really well. Linda says she has a basement. How much space? Not that much space. I guess just enough space that
we can like put the camera far enough so to see both of us essentially.
Yeah, and that like when we're standing and stuff, it's not like cutting off any parts of our body. But we can talk about that. But for now, if we get the class started, just make sure you got your mats, your water.
Or coffee.
Yeah, stimulant for a relaxing yoga class. And any props that you might need. So if you have yoga blocks or if you're using like stacks of books or something like that, keep them handy. And just like our previous flows, Krista's going to be going over modified variations of stuff, and we build it up progressively, just like we kind of do in studio. So take your shavasana. We're going to start in our shavasana as per usual, and enjoy. And again, any comments or suggestions as we go along, or any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll be here and we can respond to you guys.
Or if something's wrong with the sound or whatever, just send us a quick message so that we can try and fix it right away.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, have a good practice and we'll see you in a bit. Oh, and one last thing, this class, I had some comments from our other classes about maybe making them a little bit shorter. So the first one we did was 90 minutes. We want to keep it shorter to like an hour, hour and 15, but for today, typical Chad fashion, the best I can do is like an hour and 17, hour and 18 minutes, but we're working on it. Enjoy.
Greetings, everyone. Peace and blessings to you all. Welcome back to another practice, another movLAB sessions. My name is Chad, and I have Krista here with me. We'll be guiding you through your practice. We're going to try to keep it a little bit shorter than the last couple videos, around an hour to an hour and 15 minutes tops. So we're going to get started on our backs. Again, we'll start in our shavasana. I'm just beginning with a little bit of breath work. Just begin by cultivating a greater sense of awareness surrounding the body, greater sense of awareness surrounding the breath. Again, bringing us into that proper headspace for our practice. We want to become fully present and fully engaged within our direct felt experience. And so just becoming aware of the rhythm of your breath to start. Follow the natural rhythm of your inhales and your exhales. Gently breathing in and out through the nose. And you can allow the breath to just flow naturally if that's your preference. Or beginning to cultivate your breath, beginning to apply conscious control to it, and exploring this concept of breath management. You want to begin to deliberately and consciously slow your breath down, allow it to lengthen. With every cycle of breath, making a point to breathe into the belly first, allow the belly to rise, to expand, allow the ribs to expand, the lungs to expand to their fullest capacity. And then making your exhale even longer, even steadier than that in-breath. And just gently letting go of that stale air within the body. Staying here for 4 more full cycles. As you inhale, breathe into the belly first, and into the ribs, pulling that breath up through the chest into the upper chest. As you exhale, the chest falls, the ribs deflate, the tummy softens. Now, as you cultivate your breath in this way, you want to become perceptive to how this more mindful pattern of breathing begins to influence your experience. And so, how does the heart rate respond? How does the mind respond? Does the mind begin to quiet itself? Do you sort of notice the background chatter of the mind starting to quiet? How does the body begin to feel physically? Do you feel more relaxed? So when you're ready, at the bottom of your next exhale, just begin to wake the body up, just bringing some movement into the extremities, fingers, the toes. If it feels good to roll out the wrists and the ankles, you can go for that a little bit. Now as you begin to cultivate movement within the body, you want to apply the same principles that you did to the breath, in creating a greater sense of mindfulness surrounding your movements. And this idea of mindfulness really simply meaning that we're able to pay attention in a particular way, that we're able to focus our attention and our awareness where we choose to direct it, and that we're able to sort of sustain that mental focus. When you're ready, take a bend into the knees and bring the knees in towards the chest, giving yourselves a little hug. So the palms can come to the top of each knee or to the backs of the thighs if that's more accessible to you. So your choice. And as you hug the knees in, you want to kind of go with the rhythm of your breathing. So you want to find your inhale, let the belly rise, let it press up into the thighs. As you exhale and the belly deflates, maybe that self-hug becomes a little bit tighter and you start to create a little bit more squeeze there, compressing into the abdominals. You might feel that compression into the creases of the hips, into the front of the hips. And if it feels good for your low back, maybe just gently rocking side to side. And so you'll start to create a gentle self-massage within the low back or through the sacrum. Sacrum being that little triangle-shaped bone at the base of the spine. And you might find that this little self-massage that you're creating travels depending on knee placement. So if you're hugging the knees in a little bit tighter to the body, you're going to feel that self-massage travel upwards towards the mid-back. If you let the knees come away from the chest a little bit, you'll find that you start to press down a little bit more specifically towards the sacrum or towards the tailbone. And when you're ready, we're going to start to open those knees up. Creating a diamond shape with the legs, you want to bring the soles of the feet together, and then you can lower your feet to your mat in that diamond shape. So we're coming into our reclined butterfly pose. And we'll start by warming up the hips a little bit. So using your block or whatever prop that you have at home, you're going to bring that block underneath the right thigh. And you want to press into that block through the outside of the thigh. So the block is just there to give your body, or to give the nervous system rather, a little bit of tactile feedback, which is feedback through touch, just to make sure that when we start to bring movement into the left hip, that the right hip doesn't start to sort of couple with the opposite leg. So from here, taking your arms to your sides, you want to press down into the palms and into the arms, contracting through the abdominals. You want to try to keep your low back flat to your mat as best you can. With your next inhale, start to lift that left leg, hovering your foot up off your mat. Lift your foot. And you're going to start to draw that left knee towards the left shoulder, keeping that knee tracking out to your side as wide as you can. Yeah, you don't have to kick the heel out. And from here, just returning to your reclined butterfly, bringing that left foot back to meet the right. We'll go for another one like that. Inhale to find your lift. Start to draw the knee towards the shoulder. You want to create hip flexion here, so you want to feel engagement through the front of the hip. Maintaining that squeeze, start to adduct the hip, meaning you're going to start to close that hip up. You're drawing the knee in towards the center of the chest, but trying to maintain that hip flexion, trying to pull the knee and thigh towards the chest. And then when you're ready, reversing your movement path, start to open that hip up, bringing that sole of the left foot back down to meet the right. And we'll go for a few more like that. Take your time with it, move with your breath. Inhale, we lift, we start to draw the knee towards the shoulder, closing that hip up, bringing that knee in towards the center of the chest. You got it. Opening that hip up. Bring the soles of the feet together. Go for another one. As you complete that last repetition, take your left arm overhead, or your right arm overhead, excuse me, and start to roll onto the right side of your body. You can remove that block or that prop out from underneath the knee. And then from here, we're going to sort of address the back side of our hip rotation, the back side of our hip. We're going to begin to extend your hip, pushing back through the heel of that foot. Try to maintain the 90-degree bend within the leg. And so keep pressing back, pressing back, pressing back until you start to create some engagement through the back of the thigh, through the hamstring. And so once you feel that muscle engagement, start to abduct the hip. So lifting away from the center line of the body. Yep, we lift away from the ground. You want to feel the muscles on the outside of the hip and thigh engaging to create that lift, and doing your best to maintain the hip extension throughout. With your next exhale, you're going to start to close that hip up. Maintain your hip extension, drawing the knee straight down towards the floor, going as far as you can go. Yeah, a few more, just like that. Move with your breath. Inhale, we lift. Got it. Exhale, we lower. As you start to draw the knee down, you're kind of squeezing in towards your center line. You want to feel the muscles on the inside of the thigh engaging to draw the knee towards the floor. The next time that you lift and you abduct the hip, holding here, we're going to go from our internal rotation to our external hip rotation. So you want to start to draw your knee towards your shoulder, and then shin and toes will start to point towards the sky. Now create a little bit of hip flexion here. Krista's going to start to bring that knee right towards the shoulder, so now we want to create that squeeze again through the front of the hip. Coming back to your internal rotation, swing the heel of the foot behind you, the shin follows. Coming back to that hip extension, pushing back through that heel. We'll go for a few more like that, just traveling between the two positions. Yeah. So once you come back to that internal rotation, we'll lower the foot and just coming onto your back, allow the knees to sway side to side. Create a gentle windshield wiper motion with the knees. Knees in towards the chest. Create a diamond shape with the legs. Lowering into that reclined butterfly pose. Take your block underneath the outside of that left thigh. You can adjust your block for height. And so with the arms at your sides, contracting through the abdominals. Inhale, we lift. Start to draw that knee towards the shoulder, out to your side. Keep that left thigh pressing into your block. You just want to make the hip work a little bit. Engage the hip, challenge it. And coming back to your reclined butterfly, feet together, diamond shape with the legs. As you draw the knee towards that right shoulder, start to play with closing that hip up, drawing the knee towards the center of the chest. Opening that hip up, knee tracks out to your side. Down towards your mat, bringing the soles of the feet together. And just go for a few more like that. Taking your time with it. Challenging your hip in its movement. Come back to that reclined butterfly pose. Removing that block out from underneath the thigh. Take your left arm overhead, roll onto the left side of your body. Again, backside of our hip car. Keeping that 90-degree bend in that right leg. Start to extend the hip, push back through the heel. And again, you want to reach back. Keep an eye on your low back. Try not to allow it to overarch. From here, maintaining the hip extension as best you can. Inhale, we begin to abduct. Lifting away from the center line of the body without letting the low ribs sort of collapse into the floor here. Exhale, we adduct, drawing the knee down towards the floor. Like you're trying to squeeze those thighs together. Go for a few more like that, follow your breath. As you come back to that hip abduction, lifting away from your center line, we go from our internal rotation to our external rotation, tracking the knee towards the shoulder. Shin and toes pointing up towards the sky. Start to create that hip flexion. Try to draw the knee towards the shoulder. And come back to your internal rotation. Heel of the foot swings behind you. Shin follows. And again, we'll go for a few more like that. External rotation. Create a little bit of flexion. Knee towards the shoulder. Internal rotation. Maintaining the hip abduction. As you come back to your internal rotation, you can lower the leg, coming onto your back. Again, allowing the knees to sway side to side gently. No rush to get there. Drawing the knees in towards the chest. Give yourselves one more little hug. Any intuitive movements or adjustments that feel good to your body, you can explore that here. And we'll make our way up to a seated position. And so you can rock back to the shoulders, kicking up to a seated position. If you prefer to just roll to your side to come up to seated, that's okay too. Finding your tabletop, we can cross one ankle in front of the other, hands reach forward. You can shift your weight forward to your tabletop. If you prefer just to sweep your feet out to your side, all good. Mobilizing the spine with our cat-cow. Just going for some extension and flexion. Follow your breath. As you inhale, tailbone starts to reach up, chest lifts up, the gaze can look up. Exhale, the tailbone will tuck underneath you, the chin tucks in towards the chest, the spine rounds up. And so keep going with your breath. Inhale, tailbone up, chest up, look up. You want to try to lift out of the shoulders here. Exhale, tailbone tucks under, chin tucks in, spine rounds up. You want to press up through that space in between the shoulder blades. Go for a few more. Again, try to let your breath guide your movement. So we want to try to harmonize breath and movement together as best we can. The bottom of your next exhale, finishing with that cat pose, letting the spine come to neutral. Beginning to integrate the shoulders a little bit. Without shifting your weight to your right side or to your right hand, we're going to play with a little bit of scapular retraction. So keeping the left arm nice and straight, nice and strong, start to squeeze that shoulder blade towards the center of your back to lift that left palm. Now as you do, you also want to try to maintain wrist extension. So the back of the hand is pulling up towards your face or towards the forearm. And from here, maintaining this, begin to axially rotate the shoulder. So we're going to rotate fingers inwardly, going as far as we can go, bringing the shoulder to an internal rotation. So you want to feel that rotation travel all the way up into the ball and socket portion of that shoulder joint. And then we're going to rotate fingers outward. Go as far as you can go. If you can rotate the fingers to point back towards the knee, that's all right. Again, try to maintain the wrist extension. Try to maintain the scapular retraction. So you're creating external rotation in the shoulder here. And then just traveling between the two positions. We'll go for a few more like that. So you want to find your end range of motion. You want to really come to that threshold that your body sets and just hold in that position for a moment or two before you move out of it. When you're ready, we'll place the left palm down and we'll switch sides. Again, retract the right shoulder blade, squeeze it to the center of your back. That's going to pull the hand away from your mat. Try to keep the arms straight and strong, maintain the wrist extension. Same thing, rotate fingers in. Internal rotation for the shoulder, rotate fingers out, external rotation for the shoulder. We're going for a few more. Bringing the right palm down, find your child's pose. So we'll give the wrist a little bit of a break. And if it feels good to roll them out a little bit, you can go for that. From this child's pose, arms reaching out overhead. Breathe, finding a modified plank. Inhale, lift the shoulders forward and up to stack over the wrist, creating a strong straight line from the knees to the shoulders. Holding strong through those abdominals, find your inhale, exhale, we lower, modified chaturanga. And try not to allow the belly to droop, don't let the hips sag on your way down. Placing yourself down to the belly gently, press into the tops of the feet. Strong legs, so feel the knees lift away from the floor, feel the thighs engage, stay with that strength through the legs. Inhale to your baby cobra, lifting the chest, up and away from your mat, shoulders roll back and together. Again, putting little to no weight in the hands. Breathing here. 2 more breaths. Let your inhales lift you up. Supporting that height through the exhale. We'll go one more breath in. And exhale to lower. Child's pose. Coming back to your tabletop. This time taking the left arm forward and up, overhead. Now here you want to try to keep your chest square to your mat as best you can. Try not to let the ribs roll open to the sky. Take a bend into that left elbow, tuck your hand behind your head, or if you can reach between the shoulder blades or upper back, that's okay, you want to play with that. Also try not to allow the chin to tuck in towards the chest. So you want to keep the gaze looking forward slightly. From here, think about retracting that left shoulder blade to the center of your back. It's like you want to reach up to the sky through the elbow. Start to hover your hand above your head, just to hold. With your next inhale, start to extend that arm forward. Yeah. Start to rotate thumb down, trace a big circle. With that arm, slow down. Take a bend into that elbow, and you're going to tuck that hand behind the low back. So I'll give you a little bit of a side view. As you tuck behind the low back, try not to let the low back arch. Again, you want to retract that shoulder blade, squeeze it to the center of your back. Think about reaching up from the elbow. Lift your hand away from the low back just to hover. Begin to extend, reach back. Start to rotate thumb up as you swing that arm back overhead. Take a bend into the elbow, tuck behind the head or behind the upper back. We'll go for a couple more like that. Reach up through that elbow, lift to hover, extend. We rotate thumb down as we sweep the arm back. Take a bend into the elbow, tuck. So if you need to take a little bit of a break between repetitions, that's okay. Let the nervous system sort of reset. We'll go for another one like that, back and forth. Lift to hover, extend, rotate externally through the shoulder as you sweep the arm overhead. Bend that elbow, tuck. Bring that left arm back overhead, place the palm down. Switching sides. Forward and up. We bend that elbow, we tuck behind the head. Moment to breathe here. Reach up through that elbow. Lift to hover. We extend at the elbow, straighten the arm. Trace your circle. Or half circle rather. As you bring that right arm back overhead and take the palm down to meet the left, find your child's pose, just sitting the hips back and down between the heels. Inhale, lift to that modified plank. Shoulders draw over wrist. Strong straight line from the knees to the shoulders. Find your inhale, exhale, we lower. Slow, controlled, control your movement. Pressing into the tops of the feet. Inhale to your baby cobra. Exhale to lower. Pushing back to your child's pose. And we're going to try to build on that little single leg arm balance that we were playing with in the last class. And I'm going to show you other ways that we can kind of break it down and that we can modify it. So from your child's pose, with your inhale, come to your modified plank. From that modified plank, the left leg will kick back. As you create that lift through the left leg, think about bringing that left knee towards the left elbow, and you want to lift that knee as high as you can onto that elbow. If you can get the knee above the elbow, you can start to play with bending those elbows. And as you create those chaturanga arms, that left elbow is going to press to the inner thigh. You're going to create more abduction, more opening through that hip. You can hold here. You can play with extending that left leg. When you're ready, we'll bring a bend into that knee. Press up. Step your left knee back to meet the right. Find your child's pose. Go for another one like that, right side. So inhale, we lift modified plank. The right leg is going to kick up and back. Option to bend those elbows. Option to extend the leg. Coming back to your child's pose. Bend the knee, press up. Right knee comes back to meet the left, find your child's pose. Building it up from there. Inhale, lift to your modified plank. Left leg lifts, knee to elbow. Now if you're not getting the knee above the elbow, option to just hold here. Tuck your back toes under, right knee can lift. The knee can come down. Again, option to bend those elbows. If you're able to bend the elbows, from here, tuck the back toes under, right knee can lift. We can still play with extending the other leg. When you're ready, knee down, press up, left knee back to meet the right, child's pose. We'll play with that on the other side. Inhale, we lift. Right leg kicks back, knee to elbow. Option to tuck the back toes under to lift that back knee from here. Or we can bend the elbows first, then tuck the back toes under and lift that back knee. When you're ready, inhale, we press up. Right knee back, child's pose. Building that up. Inhale, modified plank. Bring that left knee to the left elbow. Option to bend those elbows. Back toes can tuck under, right knee can lift. We can extend that left leg. Staying at the bottom of your chaturanga. Take that bend into the left knee. Step your left foot back to meet the right. Inhale to your baby cobra. Or upward facing dog. Pressing into the palms. Pulling the chest forward and through between those hands. Legs so strong, so active that the knees and thighs lift with the rest of the body. When you're ready, we'll tuck the toes under. Find your downward facing dog. Pedal up the feet, shake up the legs a little bit. Your first downward dog. And we'll play with that on the other side. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, lower the knees. Modified plank. We're going to bring the right knee to the right elbow. Option 2, tuck the back toes under, left knee lifts. Or we can bend the elbows and then we can lift that back knee. Again, you can explore your pose when you're ready. Right foot steps back to meet the left. At the bottom of your chaturanga, inhale to your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Again, breathe. Take a moment, pedal out the feet, shake out the legs. So any intuitive movements or adjustments that feel good to your body in your downward dog, you can take a moment to explore that. When you're ready, we'll come to meet in our forward fold. Start to walk your feet up to meet your hands, taking as many little steps as you need to get there. Bending the knees as much as you need to reach to your mat comfortably, pouring over the thighs. Now, even if the bend in the knees needs to be rather generous and you feel your belly resting to your thighs, that's okay in your forward fold. To deepen your stretch from here as you inhale, think about lengthening the chest forward, pressing the sits bones up to the sky, maybe straightening through the backs of the legs a little bit. And as you exhale, let your upper body hang heavy, pouring over those thighs. If you'd like to take a moment to reach for opposite elbows, you can take your ragdoll variation of your forward fold. You can shake the shoulders loose a little bit here. Gentle sway of the head, yes. Gentle sway of the head, no. Breathe. Now from your forward fold, you can use blocks to support your hands. You can adjust those blocks for height. If with a little bend in the knees, you can reach your fingertips to your mat. Awesome, you can go with that variation. We're going to start to play with revolving our forward fold. And so taking a slight bend into the left knee, straighten through the right leg. Reaching the right fingertips up. Think about creating like a shoulder rotation, shoulder car. Reach the right fingertips forward and up. Allow the right ribs to roll open to the sky. Tracing a big circle with that right arm. Coming back to your forward fold. Same thing through the left side. So take a little bend into the right knee, straighten through the left leg. As you inhale, the left fingertips will reach forward. As they come up, allow the left ribs to roll open to the sky. Keep going with your circle all the way through. Forward fold. Go for another one like that, both sides. Move with your breath. Adding on here. As the right fingertips reach forward and up, you trace that big circle. Keep following the movement of that right arm. Chair pose. As you inhale, chest lifts up, fingertips reach up. Exhale, sit the hips back and down, trying your best to keep your weight into the heels of the feet. So if you look down towards your toes, you want to be able to see your toes peeking ahead of your knees. If you cannot, if the knees are covering up the toes, you want to think about drawing the hips back. Try to pull your knees away from the top of your mat. When you're ready, inhale, palms come together. Exhale to bow forward. Little bend in the right knee, straighten through the left leg. Inhale, left fingertips reach forward and up. Keep going with the movement of that left arm. Find your exhale, inhale, chair pose. Find your exhale here. Inhale, palms together. Exhale, forward fold. Adding on. Windmill the right arm, revolve that forward fold. Right to your chair pose. As you sit to your chair, breathe. We'll bring the palms together. Prayer hands. Shift your weight to your left foot. As you inhale, press up to standing. Right knee to hip height. Start to open that hip up. We're going to go for a hip rotation from standing hip car. So you can keep the hands together. Hands can stay to your waist, or we can take the arms out to our sides. Your choice. Start to internally rotate the hip. Begin to push back through the heel of the foot. Now as you do, try not to let the chest come forward. Try not to let the low back arch. Don't let your bum poke out behind you. You want to keep that pelvis tilting back. We start to squeeze in towards our center line. And then reverse your movement path. Go backwards. We abduct the hip. We start to externally rotate. Lift, create flexion as you bring that knee forward. Step the foot down. Other side. Inhale, palms sweep overhead. Exhale to bow forward, hinging forward and down at the waist with a nice flat back. Again, bending the knees as much as you need to reach to the floor. Slight bend into the right knee, straighten through the left leg. Inhale, big sweeping circle. Revolve that forward fold. Coming right into your chair pose. Breathe, find your seat here. Prayer hands, bring those hands together. This time shift your weight to your right foot. We press up to standing single leg. Go for your standing hip car. Challenging your balance and your stability as you articulate the hip. Left foot will step down to meet the right. Inhale, palms sweep overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Adding on. Right side, revolve that forward fold, big arm circle. Let it flow to your chair. Bringing the hands together. Shift left, we press up to stand. Go for your hip car. This time, as you extend that hip hold here, start to kick back through the heel of the foot, stepping back to your lunge. Now you can take your runner's lunge here if you choose, or the back knee can come down to your mat, and we can play with some modifications. So from the kneeling lunge here, you can keep your hands to your block, or just as in your runner's lunge, the arms can start to reach back. You got it. Keep breathing from this runner's lunge, this modified runner's lunge. With your next inhale, start to sweep the arms overhead. Half crescent lunge. From here, Krista's going to create a twist. She's going to start to rotate to her right, taking the right ribs open to the sky, and again, trying to keep the arms together like she's holding a beach ball between her hands. Breathing here. From here, finding a modified warrior 2. You're going to start to externally rotate the right hip, pulling that shin forward so it's parallel to the back edge of your mat. Lift the shoulders to stack over the hips. Warrior 2. Warrior 2. Yeah. And so you can keep the arms in line with the shoulders. As you start to lunge towards that front foot, you're going to deepen the stretch through the inseam of that right thigh. You might also feel some engagement through the front of the hip as you start to come into greater hip flexion. Reverse this warrior. So with the arms in line with the shoulders, the left palm will come to the back of the thigh. If you can reach down to your calf or to your mat, that's okay. With your inhale, you start to reach up through the fingertips. As you exhale, you start to exalt your reach towards the back of your mat. So you want to bring that stretch in alongside through the ribs, through the intercostals. This should feel like more of a side bend than a back bend. From here, we're going to find a modified side angle pose. So with your inhale, the shoulders lift to stack over the hips. Bringing the left forearm to the top of the thigh or maybe to the inner thigh. You can reach for your block or to your mat. You can adjust your block for height. The left fingertips will start to reach up. If you want a deeper stretch through the right side of the body, you start to extend that reach overhead. As you extend the reach overhead, make sure that that right shoulder doesn't want to roll forward and down, but you want to keep the ribs, you want to keep that heart space spiraling open towards the sky. From here, when you're ready, both arms will come down to the inside of the left thigh. You can straighten that right leg out behind you. Yeah, the back knee can stay down. Or again, we can tuck the back toes under and the right knee can lift. Playing with your hand balance, your variation. So again, we pick that left foot up. We want to keep the knee glued to the elbow. We can bend the elbows from here. The back knee can stay down. You can play with extending that top leg. You can pick that right knee up if you choose. When you're ready, find your flow. Left foot steps back to meet the right at the bottom of your chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. With your next inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Create lift, create length through that left leg. As you exhale, carry that left knee towards the right elbow, coming across the body, finding a little bit of a twist in your core plank. Inhale to kick back. Exhale, this time bring your knee in towards your chest or your nose, and then place your left foot between your hands. Rock your way towards your back foot. Inhale to your forward fold. Find your exhale here. When you're ready, take a bend into the right knee, straighten through the left leg, revolve that forward fold, big circle with that left arm. Let it flow to your chair pose. We'll bring the hands together. This time shifting right, press up. Go for your hip rotation. Take your time with it. Yeah, once you come to that hip extension, start to kick back through the heel. Extend the leg from the knee. Slowly step back to your lunge. So Krista's going to do the modified variations. I'll show you how you can build it up. So we can stay in our runner's lunge, standing. Breathing here. When you're ready, challenging the shoulders, reach back and up as you sweep the arms overhead. Half crescent lunge. To take your twist from standing, rolling the left ribs open to the sky, take your back heel down, just like you would for your warrior two. Then start to create that twist. Breathe, pressing into that front foot. Warrior two, lift the shoulders to stack over the hips. Arms in line with the shoulders. Lunging towards that front leg, breathe. When you're ready, reverse the warrior. Flip the front palm. Inhale, we reach up. Exhale to reach back. Now, if you're standing, as you reverse that warrior, try not to lose your lunge. Don't straighten through that front leg. Maintain the bend in the knee. Side angle pose. Inhale, the shoulders stack over the hips. Exhale, right forearm lands to the top of the thigh. Maybe inner thigh, left fingertips can reach up. If that right arm is tracking to the inner thigh, maybe use a block to support your hand. If you can reach down to your mat, awesome. But try to make sure that that right hip doesn't start to poke out behind you. So try not to poke your bum behind you, but keep that right hip pulling forward and underneath you. Allow that left shoulder to roll open behind you. And again, we can extend that reach, deepening that stretch through the left side of the body. Last breath here. Find your inhale. Exhale, we'll lower, bringing both arms to the inside of the left thigh. Yeah, straightening that left leg out behind you or pivoting onto the back toes. Walk your right foot out to your side. And when you're ready, playing with the arm balance. Now, Krista's going to go from the knee down variation. If you'd like to play with back knee up, again, we can use our block to support that left hip, that back hip, just like we did in the other class. So you want to line your block up with your hip. You want to make it as tall as it can go. Right foot lifts away from your mat. Try to keep the knee glued to the elbow. Exhale, we start to lower. We bring that left hip to our block. And then we see if we can lift that back leg. If you're playing with the balance, option to extend that top leg, that right leg. When you're ready, right foot steps back to meet the left. The bottom of our chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Create lift, create length through that right leg. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow. Come across the body with the right knee. Try to lift that knee as high as you can. Inhale, we kick back, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to chest or to chin or to nose. Place your foot between the hands. Forward fold, rock your way towards your back foot. Inhale to step forward. Find your exhale here. From that forward fold, in right side, start to revolve that forward fold. Big circle with that right arm. Let it flow to your chair pose. Inhale, chest up, reach up. Exhale, find your seat. Breathe. Try to control your movements. You want to make them smooth, steady. We'll bring the hands together. So it's not about what you're doing, but about how you're able to do it, how you're able to execute. Shift left. We start to press up to standing, right knee to hip height. Go for that hip rotation. Take your time. You want to maintain your balance as best you can as you articulate that right hip. Start to kick back through that heel. Slowly and in a controlled way, we step back to our runner's lunge. From that runner's lunge, reaching the arms back and up, start to sweep those arms overhead. Half crescent lunge. When you're ready to find your twist, take the back heel down, start to roll the right ribs open to the sky, trying to keep the arms together. With your next inhale, warrior two, lift the shoulders to stack over the hips. Arms open in line with the shoulders. We lunge towards that front foot. Just making sure knee and toes pointing straight ahead. Knee tracking open towards the pinky toe edge of the foot. Reverse your warrior. Flip the front hand. Inhale, we reach up. Exhale, we dance back. Side angle pose. Inhale to carry the shoulders forward. Left forearm to top of thigh or inner thigh. Right fingertips start to extend. You can hold here, or with your next inhale, left arm starts to extend up to meet the right. Breathe, holding strong. When you're ready, lizard pose. Bring both hands down to the inside of the left thigh, pivoting onto the back toes. Then you can walk that left foot out to your side. Playing with your hand balance, you can use your block to support the right hip, or you can modify like we did earlier. Yogi's choice. Left knee stays glued to that elbow. Maybe we bend the elbows. Maybe we use the back toes to shift our weight forward. We start to lift that back leg. When you're ready, right toes down. Left foot steps back to meet the right at the bottom of your chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a moment to breathe. Inhale, left leg lifts, three-legged dog. Go with your inhale. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow. Inhale, left leg kicks back. Exhale, knee to nose. Step that left foot between the hands, this time finding your crescent lunge, pressing down into that front foot, contracting through the abdominals. Inhale, chest up, reach up. Find your exhale here. Adding in a little balancing pose, our warrior three or your airplane. We'll bring the hands together. Rock your weight towards your back foot. Now shifting your weight forward, think about carrying the chest forward. Get light onto the back toes. Start to extend that hip to hover that back leg. You can keep a bend in that left knee into the standing leg, or we can start to straighten. To come deeper into the pose, you want the lift in the right leg to initiate any hinge forward at the waist. So you don't want to see the chest starting to round forward or the spine rounding, but we want to maintain lift through the chest, length through the spine. Hands can stay to heart center, or we can take those arms back for our airplane variation. Coming to your mountain pose. With your next inhale, start to lift the chest, pulling that right foot forward and through to meet the left. Mountain pose. Inhale, palms sweep overhead. Exhale to your forward fold. Revolving that forward fold, left side. Big circle, and let it flow to your chair. Bringing the hands together, shift right. Inhale, we press up. Yeah, start to go for that hip rotation. Take your time with it. Stepping back to your runner's lunge, kick back through that left heel. As you exhale, slow controlled bend through the right knee. Arms reach back. When you're ready for that half crescent lunge, go with your breath. Reach the arms back and up. Biceps towards the ears. Finding your twist, take the back heel down. Start to roll the left ribs open to the sky. And when you're ready, warrior two, lift the shoulders to stack over the hips. Arms in line with the shoulders. Exhale to find your lunge. Breathe. Again, moving with the breath. Reverse your warrior. Flip the front palm. Inhale, we lengthen upwards. Exhale, we take our reach towards the back of our mat. Side angle pose. Inhale, carry the shoulders forward. Right forearm to top of thigh. Left fingertips reach up. We can let that right arm track to the inner thigh. Yogi's choice. Extending that reach overhead. You can hold here if you want that extra challenge. Start to extend that right arm up to meet the left. Both biceps alongside the ears. Hold strong here for 2. Keep breathing for 1. Exhale, we bring both palms down to the inner thigh. Lizard pose. Again, you can walk that right foot out to your side, making sure that you have nice space for both arms to the inner thigh. And then playing with your variation. of your Kudinya Sage pose, your arm balance, almost like a little Spider-Man push-up arm balance. You can keep the back toes down, or we can shift our weight towards our hands and we can find lift in that back leg. When you're ready, to the bottom of your chaturanga. Back toes down, right foot steps back. Inhale. Baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. No rush to get there. Take your time. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow. Inhale, we kick back. Creating that lift and that length. Exhale, knee to nose. Step your foot between your hands. Preparing your crescent lunge. Contract through the abdominals. Inhale, we lift. Find your exhale here. Palms together, preparing that warrior three. Rock your way towards your back foot. Again, we shift forward. Carry the chest forward. Once you get light on the back toes, we find our hover, we find our lift. Right knee can stay bent, a little bit of a bend in the knee to stay braced, or we can start to straighten. Maintaining that length through the spine, let that lift through the chest. We start to hinge at the waist, and envisioning your body as though it's a teeter-totter. Hands can stay to heart center, you can reach the arms back, or they can stay to your waist. When you're ready, inhale, chest lifts, pulling that left foot forward to meet the right. Mountain pose. Breathe. We'll go for this flow one more time. So again, you can explore, you can play around with your variations. If there are any other variations of any of these poses that are part of your practice, feel free to include them. Again, get creative. And don't be afraid to sort of challenge yourselves. As you inhale, the palms sweep overhead. Reach up, grow tall. Exhale to bow forward. Forward fold. Revolve that forward fold. Right side, big sweeping circle with that right arm. Flowing to your chair. Palms will come together. Shift left, we press up. Go for your hip rotation. Runner's lunge. Kick back through that right heel. We step back nice and slow, nice and control. Breathe. Start to extend the arms overhead. Half crescent lunge, back heel down. Start to twist, right ribs to the sky. Warrior two when you're ready. Reverse that warrior. Coming to your side angle pose, we carry the shoulders forward, forearm to thigh or inner thigh. You can hold here if you want that challenge. Start to extend the left arm up to meet the right. Hold, breathe. Exhale, lizard pose. And walk that left foot out to your side. Nice space for both arms to the inner thigh. And when you're ready, your hand balance. To your chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, downward facing. Three-legged dog, left leg lifts. Exhale, we bring that knee to the opposite elbow. Slowing it down. Pretend like you're moving through water. Or like you're practicing in a pool. Inhale to kick back, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. Place your foot between your palms. Crescent lunge. Inhale to rise up, chest up, reach up. Palms together. To your warrior three, your airplane. Shift, lift, and express. Mountain pose when you're ready. Right leg pulls forward like a pendulum. One more. You got this. Reconnect to the breath if you need to. Reset. And when you're ready, go with the breath. Inhale. Palms sweep overhead. Exhale to bow forward. Revolving your forward fold, left arm, big sweeping circle. Flow to your chair. Palms together. Shift right, pressing up to standing. Go for your hip rotation. Stepping back to that runner's lunge. Breathe. Half crescent lunge. Back heel down. Let the left ribs roll open to the sky. Warrior two. Shoulders stack over hips, arms in line with the shoulders. Find your lunge, reverse your warrior. Side angle pose. Breathe. Again, you can stay with the right arm to the thigh or inner thigh, or maybe we extend that right arm up to meet the left. Breathe, hold strong. When you're ready, lizard pose. Both arms come down to the inner thigh. Walk that right foot out to your side. No rush to get there. Your hand balance, last one will play. Letting it flow to your chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Three-legged dog, right leg lifts with that inhale. Exhale, knee to opposite elbow. Inhale, we kick it back. Exhale, knee to nose. We try to give your knee a kiss. Place your foot between your hands. Crescent lunge when you're ready. Inhale to rise up. Chest up, reach up. Palms together. Your warrior three, your airplane. Again, take your time with it. Shift. Carry the chest forward. We float. Express your pose. Mountain pose. Left foot pulls forward as the chest lifts. Find your exhale here, breathe. Inhale, palms sweep overhead. Exhale to bow forward. Half forward bend. Bring your fingertips to your feet or to your shins. We're going to lengthen up halfway, coming up to a nice flat back. Exhale to fold. Pour over your thighs. Go for one more like that. Inhale, we lengthen up halfway. Nice flat tabletop through the back body. And exhale to fold. Plant your hands. Yogi's choice. You can step back to your high plank or you can hop. Breathe. Downward facing dog. When you're ready, inhale, lift the heels up. Bring a little stretch in through the toes, tops of the feet. We'll lower the knees. Child's pose. So curling yourselves up to seated. We're going to start with our reclined hero pose. Reclined hero pose. Sometimes just sitting to the backs of the heels can create discomfort through the fronts of the knees or in through the tops of the feet. If that's your experience, use your block or maybe a different prop to sit up on to kind of take some of that pressure out of the knees, some of that discomfort out of the tops of the feet. If you're comfortable here, keep your blocks handy because they can support you in different ways. So wherever you're at, you're going to take your hands behind you. With your inhale, start to press the pelvis forward and up, just to create a nice straight line from the knees to the hips. And then as you start to lower back and down, you want to maintain that straight line. So you can sit to the heels, maybe we stay to flat palms. If you need, you can use blocks to support the forearms, and you can adjust those blocks for height. It's there, yeah. And you can adjust those blocks for height. Use our blocks to support ourselves in a different way, where we can take one block between the shoulder blades, and then we can use our second block to support the back of the head. So Krista can kind of take the weight out of the forearms and the shoulders. Her block can support the upper back, and the head and neck are supported by the block. And so maybe this allows the body to relax a little bit more in the pose. If at any time this is too much for you, you can always regress your pose a little bit. So in our practice, it's important to know when to progress our stretch to go a little bit deeper. And if the nervous system is sort of communicating discomfort to you, or your body is telling you, get out of this pose, get out of the stretch, what are you doing? Know when to regress the pose. So you don't have to come out of it completely, but if you're to the forearms and it becomes really intense, maybe just coming back to flat palms and hanging out there for a little bit. So you want to bring yourself to a place where you can feel the stretch through the quads, through the fronts of the thighs, but that you can manage the stretch. So that even in the face of the discomfort of the stretch or the pull of our stretch, through our breathing and in the way that we position ourselves, we can still stay cool, calm, collected within that discomfort. If you're all the way down to your shoulders, you want to reach for your shins to pull yourself up to forearms. From forearms with minimal twisting, you're going to walk yourselves up to flat palms, pressing up to your seat. So you can take your hands in front of you, coming to your tabletop. If you want to take a quick little downward dog, just to pedal out the feet a little bit, to shake out the legs, that's okay. And when you're ready, we'll come back to meet in our tabletop. And we're going to play with a little stretch for the back side, the posterior side of the hip. I'll give you a little side view in a moment, but we're going to start by extending the right leg back, keeping the toes down. So we're going to try to bias that left hip to adduction. Adduction, again, as we know, squeezing in towards our center line. So Krista's going to lean her hips towards the left side of her mat. And if you watch the thigh, it's going to start to hug in towards the center line of the body. Yeah, now as she does this, she's looking for a stretch on the back side of that hip. As you play with tracking the hips out to the side edge of your mat, adducting the hip, you can position your hands how you need or how you like. Now, to ramp that stretch up a little bit, if you're not really feeling much, you can play with shifting back or shifting forward slightly, but you want to start to play with pressing down into the knee. At the same time, you want to pretend like you're trying to drag your knee out towards the side of your mat. So it's almost like you're trying to really slide that knee out from underneath you, but you're using the resistance of the ground to build stretch into the back side of that hip. And you can just hold there and you can play with your stretch. If you wanted to increase hip adduction, as you push down and out to your side, you want to hold strong there. We go breath in, and then drawing that right hip forward and down, you're going to continue to close the angle on that left hip. You're going to bring that hip into greater adduction. Breath here. When you're ready, you can shift your weight forward. Bring the right knee down to meet the left tabletop, kicking that left leg back. Plant the toes. You're going to walk your hands and pivot the chest towards the side edge of your mat, taking the back heel down. Breathing here. So I'll face the camera for you guys so you can kind of see. So we have a nice straight line from that left foot to the right knee, palms flat. And we start to bring a stretch through the inner thigh, through the adductors of the groin. And so in this variation of our stretch, you want to make sure that the pinky toe edge of the foot is pressing down. So you don't want to allow that foot to roll to its inside arch. You want to think about bringing the big toe towards you and then pushing out laterally through the ankle. Pressing into the pinky toe edge of the foot. Increase that stretch. We can also allow that left hip to continue to roll forward and down. If you wanted to play with Taking your stretch into different areas of that left thigh. We can play with rolling onto that left heel. So externally rotating the hip, and you can start to sit back towards that right foot. You're going to change your stretch a little bit. So maybe you start to target different areas of that thigh. Just stressing different lines of tissue. Your line of tension, follow your stretch, and linger where it feels good to linger. Move as it feels good to move. Last breath here. When you're ready, you're going to start to walk your hands towards the top of your mat. Square yourselves towards the top of your mat. Yeah, keeping that left leg extended back. We're going to go switch to the right side. You're going to notice that Krista's thigh is going to track towards the center line of the body. Yeah. And then again, building your stretch into the back side of that hip. Again, if you wanted to ramp that stretch up, or if you're naturally flexible, you're really shifting and you don't really feel much of a stretch, then we want to start to create more engagement, more activation of that hip by pressing down, and then again trying to scrape the knee out towards the side edge of your mat. As you build your stretch, if you wanted to create more hip adduction, you want to find that inhale, maintain that engagement through the right hip, and as you exhale, you're tracking the left hip forward and down, closing the angle on that right side. To center, we'll bring the left knee down, kick the right leg back, take that back heel down, walk your palms, pivot the left knee towards the side edge of your mat. And again, we find that nice inner thigh stretch. And just like we did on the other side, you can stay with this variation, playing with bringing the big toe in towards you, pushing out laterally through the ankle. You want to push out to your side through that ankle. Just like we did on the other side, if you want to play with rolling back onto the heel of the right foot, externally rotating the hip, sitting back towards the left foot, you can change that stretch, and you can bring that stretch into different areas of that right thigh. If you were looking for a deeper stretch, if you're naturally quite flexible and you can lower towards the forearms, that's okay too. Last breath here. When you're ready, we'll come back to that internal hip rotation, foot flat. Start two, crawl your hands towards the top of your mat, square yourselves towards the top of your mat. Yeah. We'll bring the left knee back to meet the right. And exhale, we'll lower to the belly. Just coming into a gentle back bend or Sphinx pose. With your inhale, start to lift the chest up. We'll bring the forearms underneath you for support. And so as the forearms come in front of you, you want to make sure that your elbows are in line with the shoulders. So in line with doesn't mean that they have to be directly underneath the shoulders. But you don't want to see the elbows flaring out to your side. So that's what I mean by elbows in line with shoulders. If you're looking to create a deeper back bend, the elbows will walk in closer towards the ribs to create a little bit more lift through the chest, more extension through the spine. If this becomes a little bit too much for your low back or your mid back, you need to regress your pose. You can just slide the hands away from the body and you can regress your back bend a little. When you're ready, pressing into the palms, start to lift those elbows and forearms. We're going to find our cobra pose. We're creating a little bit more lift through the chest so that we can take that right arm and we can slide it underneath us. We're going to create a little closing angle stretch for the shoulder. So as you slide that right arm underneath you, you can start to lower your chest down. And so just be mindful of the load that you're placing into the back side of the shoulder as you press into that upper arm, into that tricep. You can use the left arm to control that, to control the load that you're placing into the shoulder. Breathing here. To deepen the stretch, With every inhale, you can create a little bit of lift through the chest. You want to think about squaring your chest to the floor. So my left shoulder is going to roll forward and down. It's going to create more pull through the backside of that shoulder. Last breath here. When you're ready, pressing into the left palm, we're going to lift the chest, slide that right arm out from underneath you, and then you're going to extend it in the opposite direction, creating a T shape with the arm. So arm in line with the shoulder, finding an opening angle stretch. When you're ready, you're going to start to roll onto the right side of your body. And breathing here. If you're looking to deepen the stretch, you want to think about spreading the fingers wide through that right palm, maybe pressing down actively but gently into the right palm. You might find that you start to press down to the eye of the elbow. That might change the stretch a little bit. You can also play with changing the angle of the arm. So if you want to stay with the T shape with the arm in line with the shoulder, that's okay. If you wanted to bring the arm at an upward angle to create more of a Y shape as you come to your stretch, that's okay too. Again, the stretch may feel a little bit different. Coming back onto the belly. As you come onto the belly, bring that left knee towards the left elbow. So you're creating like a half frog pose. Pressing into your left palm into the left forearm, start to lift the chest. You're going to take that right arm, slide it underneath you, and coming to find a twist. You're going to start to roll towards your left shoulder, coming onto your back. The right hand can come to the top of the left knee. If you find that that left shoulder is still sort of hiking up off of your mat, allow that left knee to lift away from the floor. Let the left shoulder come down to your mat. So both shoulders can be supported here. And then we can come back to our twist. If it's comfortable for your neck, the gaze can look out over the left shoulder. You can look out towards the left fingertips. I'm just breathing here. Ready to come out of that twist? Bring that right arm to come in line with the shoulder. Start to roll back onto the belly. Pressing into the left palm. Lift the chest. Slide the right arm out from underneath you. And exhale, we lower. The left leg can kick back to meet the right. Coming back to your Sphinx pose. Lift the chest. Forearms down. Breathe. You're ready for that shoulder stretch. Again, pressing into that right palm. You want to lift that right elbow. You're just creating enough space that you can slide that left arm underneath you. And then again, we start to lower the chest down. Breathing here. Play with your adjustments. If you want that deeper stretch, we can extend through that right arm, pressing into the palm or maybe tenting the palm and pressing into the fingertips. Allowing that right shoulder to roll forward and down. Again, just trying to square your chest towards your mat, towards the floor, little by little, incrementally. Last breath here. When you're ready, we'll press into the right palm, lifting the chest. And just enough that you can slide the left arm out from underneath you. Extend that left arm in the opposite direction. Finding your opening angle stretch, we roll to the left side of the body. Breathe. Again, you can find your stretch here. Stay with it. If you wanted to explore, again, you can play with different angles on that arm, upward angle. Change the stretch. As you play with this stretch, especially if you're naturally flexible within the shoulders, you almost want to start to feel that stretch travel through the front side of the shoulder, into the chest, into the upper chest. Last breath here. When you're ready, coming back onto the belly, we're going to prepare our twist. So again, pressing into the right palm, lift the chest. Slide that left arm underneath you. You're going to bring that right knee towards that left elbow. You're going to roll towards that right shoulder. You can use a block to support the inner thigh. Breathing here. Again, we're looking to create a dissociation between the shoulders and the hips. And so, in bringing that right shoulder all the way down to your mat, if that starts to pull you out of your twist, that's okay. Allow that right knee to lift. Let both shoulders remain comfortably flat to your mat, nice and supported. And then with every exhale, you can explore the depth of your twist. If it's comfortable for the neck, the gaze looks out over that right shoulder. As you settle into your twist, we bring awareness back to the breathing. Maybe picking up on the subtle adjustments that the body makes naturally, just by virtue of staying connected to the breath. And from here, let's come out of our twist. We're just going to bring that right knee to center. The left knee can come in to meet it. If you need to scooch back onto your mat, we can do that. Last pose for today, our happy baby. Taking the knees out to about shoulder distance apart. You want to bring your arms to the inside of the knees and thighs, reaching for your feet. So you can reach for the outside arches of the feet, the inside arches, or if you just want to scoop up the big toes, whichever is most accessible for you. And then with your inhale, you're going to try to draw the ankles to come in line with the knees. So the soles of the feet face up, toes pointing towards the shoulders. And then as you exhale, you're going to gently pull down on the feet, drawing the knees towards your mat, creating a compression into the front of the hips. When you're ready to release, just bring the soles of the feet together. Create that diamond shape with the legs. Releasing your feet to your mat in that diamond shape. You can stay with this reclined butterfly pose, or if you prefer, option for your corpse pose, for your shavasana, you can extend your legs for the end of your mat. Let the toes fall apart. Let the hips gently roll open and relax and settle into your mat. Arms can relax alongside the body, but if you prefer, we can keep our palms to the belly, just bringing awareness back to the rhythm of the breath. Or we can go and bring that awareness back to your breathing and pay attention to the quality of your cycles of breath. Slow it down, lengthen it out. Slow, steady inhales, even slower, even steadier exhales. And again, we want to be perceptive to how the quality of our cycles of breath, the cadence of the breath, how that begins to influence other things. And you're free to stay with your corpse pose, with your shavasana, as long as you like, as long as you choose, as long as you need. Sealing off our practice together right here. I'd like to thank you all again for joining us. Thank you for practicing. Thank you for sharing your time. Peace and blessings, everyone, and high fives and good vibes.
Woo! What happened? You're not allowed to chat?
No.
Oh dear.
Hope everyone had a great practice.
Yeah, any comments, feedback, anything like that, you can let us know in the chat or leave a comment after it uploads. we will keep you guys posted with any updates in terms of what's happening with our filming situation.
As of right now, we don't know when we'll be able to post next, just because we don't have a space to film at the moment. So once we get that all sorted out, we'll kind of give you guys an update. Yeah. Hopefully this week, we'll keep you guys in the loop.
For sure. In the meantime, we have 3...
Thanks, Emily.
Like, share, subscribe, because the more it gets out and the more that we can grow and build this thing, the channel would be awesome. So yeah, hit the thumbs up. Feel free to share the links or share the channel. Make sure you subscribe so you can get your notifications. You want to hit the bell, the little bell icon, to get notifications for when we do stream live. And any donations that you guys maybe want to make, if you want to support the channel, support the stream, of course, always appreciated, never obligated. And we'll drop the link here. PayPal.me, Krista Donna, right?
Yeah, Krista Donna Yoga.
Oh, yoga. Krista Donna Yoga. Mm-hmm. Glad you enjoyed the class, Charity. Nat, good to see you. Any other announcements that you wanted to make?
I don't think so at the moment. I'm currently working on the website right now to kind of get out some programs. So if you guys have any programs that you want to see, please keep letting us know, and we'll try and get that out to you guys soon as well.
You got it. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions or anything, fire them off. And if not, hope you had a great start to your day with the class. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will be in touch soon.
Happy Saturday, everyone.
Happy Saturday. Stay hydrated. Take your vitamins. Vitamin C, vitamin D.
Get outside.
Yeah, eat your greens. Boost that immune system. Boost that natural immunity. Body strong. Good to see you, Flavio. And Monica, if Monica's watching as well. Glad you guys made it out.
Oh, Chris.
Chris in the channel. Good to see you, Chris. I'll see you in a little bit, brother. And yeah, we will talk to you guys soon. Peace and blessings. High fives, good vibes. And as always, stay hydrated, my friends.
See you guys.
Bye.